today our topic is investigating speaking methods used and difficulties. It's a quantitative study of 2 foreign students learning Chinese in Taiwan. In this presentation, there will have 5 parts: introduction, literature review, methodology, result, and conclusion. And here comes introduction. There are 3 parts: background, purpose of the study, research question. About background, in the past few years, more and more students want to study abroad in order to learn Chinese. However, sometimes it has been the case that studying abroad does not improve their Chinese proficiency. Therefore, in this study, we are trying to explore methods of foreign students succeed in learning Chinese, especially in speaking skills. And second, to investigate the difficulties of the learning process in learning Chinese. Research question. 1. What kinds of methods are employed by the foreign students who study Chinese in Taiwan? Second, what are difficulties encountered of foreign students who study Chinese in Taiwan? Here comes the literature review. In this part, we will talk about 3 sections: the importance of language learning strategies and the types of language learning strategies, and the relationship between language learning strategies and speaking proficiency. The importance of learning strategies. Graham in 1997 stressed that one of the major factors influencing the successful language learning was the language learning strategy. And Chen-1, Cooper, and Graham also stressed that the investigation into effective and effective learners found that more successful students used learning strategies more often. About types of learning strategies. According to Brown, Chen-1, and Malik, they are supposed to mainly divided into 3 strategies: cognitive strategies, metacognitive strategies, and social affective learning strategies. About cognitive strategies, O'Malley and Chen-1 in 1990 point out that cognitive strategies operate directly on incoming information, manipulating in way that enhance learning. And about metacognitive strategies, O'Malley and Chen-1 in 1990 emphasized that metacognitive strategies refer to higher order executive skills that may entail planning or monitoring or evaluating the success of a learning activity. About social and affective strategies, Oxford in 1990 indicated that affective strategies help cultivate learners' self-confidence and perseverance, and those social strategies encourage enhanced interaction and more empathetic understanding. Next one, we'll talk about the relationship between learning strategies and speaking proficiency. Oxford in 1990 asserted that learning strategies could help learners participate actively in such authentic communication. And Taiwan in 1981 noted that learning strategies were to develop linguistic and socialistic competence in the target language. Here we are going to talk about the relationship between learning strategies and speaking proficiency. For example, about the cognitive, it's the way to strengthen grammatical accuracy about the speaking proficiency. About metacognitive, it's regulating the cognition to move toward speaking proficiency. And about social affective strategy, it can develop self-confidence and providing influence interaction and more empathetic understanding about speaking proficiency. Next part, we'll talk about methodology. Here comes 2 parts: settings and the participants. Design of the interview question. About settings and participant. In the research design, the study was conducted by using qualitative research methods, and the instrument used were 2 semi-structured interviews with 2 participants. The selection of participants. Participants are randomly selected from low intermediate Chinese class and high intermediate Chinese class in Chinese program, Language Center National Zhongxin University. Here comes the backgrounds of the participants. As you can see, X and Y are also, they haven't learned Chinese until they have arrived in Taiwan. So they're both learning 1.5 years about Chinese. But on the contrary, X students are in the high intermediate class, but on the contrary, Y students are in the low intermediate class. So this study is trying to discover why they have the same length of learning period, but they have different proficiency about their Chinese. The selection of participants. The criterion for the researcher to include these students was that the high intermediate students would be more motivated to improve their speaking comprehension than the low intermediate students. And the procedure of the interview. Each interview lasted for 10 to 15 minutes, and the interview was speaking in Chinese. But the participants were allowed to respond to the question in English if they want to express more about what's on their minds. And each participant was asked to answer their personal backgrounds, including age, learning land, and occupation. And the participants were allowed to answer 12 open-ended questions concerning their speaking learning in and out of the class. Here comes the design of interview questions. The researcher designed 12 interview questions according to language learning strategies, and each strategy was designed for 4 questions, and each question was asked one method of learning strategies applied, one learning methods applied for strategies. Here comes the research questions and the strategy used. For example, the question number 1, do you learn Chinese by verification? It means that if we are going to test if they are used the cognitive strategies or not, and the method applied from strategy is practicing and repeating. About question number 5, do you memorize some useful sentence to use them in conversation in using metacognitive? And we are going to test arranging and planning your learning, finding out about language learning. About question number 9, when you fail to recall some words in conversation, will you ask classmates or the teacher for help? It's about the social and affective strategies, and they are testing cooperating with others and cooperating with peers, and also cooperating with the proficient users of the new language.
There are 2 parts of the result. The result of the interview, observation during the interview. For research question 1, the data show that some methods about the research are employed by foreign students who may speak Chinese well, such as practicing by doing the repetition during the class, imitating the way that native speak Chinese, read out the dialogue, go to work after class, listening to a web radio, memorizing some useful sentences for conversation, reviewing the textbook before class, asking other people for repeating or slow down, looking up the dictionary, pay attention to the mistake, not be afraid to speak Chinese, and also friend will correct them when he make mistake. For research question 2, strategies are techniques that people employ to solve problems. In other words, if participants don't employ strategies well, participants cannot solve the problem properly. The result thought that it would cause the production of difficulties. According to item 1 to item 4, white participant doesn't imitate native speaker speaks, doesn't read all the dialogue, doesn't often talk with Chinese friends. The research thought white participants seldom use cognitive strategies, therefore he may have grammatical accuracy problems. According to item 5 to item 8, white participant doesn't memorize some useful sentences, doesn't often use media to practice, doesn't do